Verco, the CEO of Cobra Resources. Rupert, it's good to be talking to you. What's been happening this week from Cobra?
Hi, Mark. Well, there's a lot happening in the capital markets, and it's highlighting how important rare earths are, and in particular, terbium and dysprosium are in current trade bargaining chess pieces between the US and China. And fortunately for us, we're advancing a very strategic source of both terbium and dysprosium at our Boland project. And we're preparing to get back into the field for sonic drilling. And also, Mark, while we're riding volatile commodity prices, one commodity is looking very strong, and that's gold. And we're getting a lot of interest, and we're looking and assessing some options to advance our current existing gold assets towards production. So plenty happening for Cobra at present.
Excellent. Well, it's good to hear you might be getting into production at gold. I think that's a good thing that a lot of the junior miners are doing these days, is actually looking at the low-hanging fruit and getting into, even if it's a small revenue. It's something I've not seen before, but I like it. I think it's a good approach. But we'll talk about gold in a moment. Let's just talk about the rare earths. And so I know last time we spoke, there was lots of, I think it was back in November, actually, you've been doing the bench scale test. You had some good recoveries. I think it was 56% recoveries. But you're saying you want to get back in the field to do some sonic drilling. So this is to what? Prove up the resource a bit more?
Well, look, there's two components, Mark. One, sonic core drilling gives us much higher grades. It allows us to define that in-situ recoverable interface between the saprolite and the permeable sands. And that's where we get really high grades. So we're going to get great definition across that. We're going to get plenty of samples to do further test work. Why do we need to do further test work? Well, one thing, the current export controls that China have put in place is that not all rare earths are equal. The heavy rare earths are the most important. And we have very high grades of dysprosium and terbium. And we have an opportunity to really stand out in the market because of our in-situ recovery process. We think we can really refine and increase the value of our product by removing some of the lower value rare earths. And we want to scale up our met testing so we can produce a product for a lot of offtake testing and demonstrate that we can really improve what we've already produced as being a very pure product, but we can maximize the value of that. So this is optimization test work, and that will support in-field testing studies that we'll look to be doing in the next 12 months as well.
Okay, so you want to focus on the terbium and dysprosium so that the testing work that's going on will effectively be narrowing down on those two elements?
Well, narrowing down on the heavies, but really maximising the impact of our product with those two in mind. They generate a significant amount of value in our MREC, and they're ending up being very key bargaining tools in the current trade situation between China and the US.
Okay. The RNS also mentioned about the preparation for the in-situ mining. So, of course, that was already sort of semi-prepared with the holes there, but you're now looking to actually get into the field there. So what's the sort of timeline we're looking at here?
So, Mark, we've as a precedence for this work, we needed a period of time of baseline environmental parameters, and we've been testing hydrology for over 12 months now. So we have that data as a baseline to support our approvals process. We're working through that now. And we'd like to think we'd be doing what's called a tracer study in June or July. And that is to really mimic the ISR process and demonstrate the permeability of the ore body. So what that means is we'll be able to determine what our production rates could be. So that's an important part to inform our scoping study beyond that. And it's a very exciting thing for us because it puts what we've put forward in concept and demonstrated at bench scale. We take it to the field and make it real. So very exciting step for us.
So, and have you got your mineral resource estimate out at the moment, or is that still in the works?
We haven't, Mark. We've got plenty of drilling ahead of us. What we're very keen on doing is getting this sonic core drilling done first before we extend to step-out drilling. So we've done 2 phases of air core, followed by sonic, and this will inform follow-up resource drilling.
Okay, so in terms of what's happening in the next, let's say, 3 to 6 months, you've got the continued met testing, the optimization there, focusing on the heavies, but with the idea to really narrow down on dysprosium and terbium, getting into the field, doing that drilling, and then releasing that resource estimate as well.
Yes, correct. So plenty of work happening, and then looking and assessing what our options are on our gold assets. So nice to have optionality in these times. And we're looking forward to seeing some progress on those assets.
Well, the gold project then, so that's currently got a 280,000-ish gold resource on it?
Yes, that's correct. So there's some work to do to improve the confidence on those ounces, and we want to be able to come up with a non-dilutive process to advance that, and to do it with a low capex option for production. And with the interest around very high gold prices, we've had a number of days now in Australia with gold trading above $5,000 an ounce, which is just remarkable. So we see it's a very good time for us to be moving on those assets as well.
So when you say a non-dilutive approach and a low capex to production, can you say what you're thinking about at the moment, or is that something that's being worked on?
Look, we're working on a number of options, and the great thing is we have options. So look, that will come more clear in the coming months, and the great thing about that is it's not our priority focus. So really, it's a bonus on what we're delivering in terms of a very strategically important heavy rare earth project, and something that's hugely scalable. So we're very excited about both our assets at present.
Good. And if we were to think about, let's call it the UK, so it might be the Australian winter, but when we get into that period, then where would you like to see Cobra, or what certain things would you like to have seen Cobra achieved by the time you get into your winter?
Yeah, well, look, our winter here is basically an English summer, so it doesn't really impact our work program, and we'll be expecting to work through our winter. Look, I'd like to think that we will have significantly extended our footprint. We will have demonstrated robust productivities through in-situ recovery testing in the field, and we will have optimised and demonstrated a significantly improved MREC from our first test work, and then provided that MREC to a number of off-takers to advance discussions there. So lots of work happening, and very exciting times for the company.
Rupert Verco, thank you very much for joining us today, the CEO of Cobra Resources.
Thank you for your time, Mark.